Welcome back to the playlist where I document my Blitz climb to 1000 elo. In this video I'm going to be showing you two games that I played here recently in 2026. The first game I played on the 1st of January, and the second I played here as I'm recording this on the 5th of January. So you may be watching this later, but I played this last and second game on the 5th. My first game I was playing with the black pieces. I changed my opponent's name, so their name is not really Sejanus, which, if you know who Sejanus is, put it down in the... Actually, if you know who this person is, put Sejanus's last name in the comments down below if you know who this is. And let's move on to the game now. I'm playing with the black pieces, so I'll flip the board, of course, and we'll continue. Now, my opponent goes e4, and I play the d5, which is the Scandinavian defense. We have takes, takes, and knight to c3, which is just the main line thing. And I play queen to a5, and we have knight to f3. This game lasted less than 30 moves, so I don't know how long we're going to be spending on this first game, but the second one is... it might be a little bit longer, but hopefully we can get some more... hopefully we can get as much out of both of these games as possible. Yeah, the second game is 74 moves, so we'll be getting a little bit more out of that one. Now knight to f3, and now we have knight. I play knight to f6, and my opponent goes d3, which is d4 is better, but you know d3 is also fine. I play knight to c6. a3 is my opponent plays this move, which makes sense. You know, if I ever go e5, this will not allow my bishop to go to b4, which could be a pretty nice outpost for that bishop there. And I go bishop to f5, which is what I just normally play. Bishop to e3 is what my opponent plays. And I long castle. So long castling basically just gives me a nice, very nice open file for my rook. And then I can probably go e5 in the future. And after g3, I do go e5, which e5 for me in this position, I'm like, oh yeah, for me, I wouldn't even think about it. I would go e5. Just, it opens the dark square bishop. I can always go, if I bring the dark square bishop out, I can bring the h rook here, and then I can go here, and it's like, oh yeah, open the position, yeah, tear it open, let's go. Give me what you got. Bishop g2 is what my opponent chooses here. I go bishop to c5, and here we have this, so I blunder this fork, but here I just take with the bishop. A takes and queen takes, and bishop back to d2. So I remember when I was playing this, I was like, I think I should probably just, I don't know what I'm going to do here. I'm going to just, I don't know why I was thinking this, but I was thinking maybe I should just resign. I don't know why I was thinking that, but I was thinking like, oh, this is not good. I should just resign. But I'm so glad I didn't, and you will see why. Bishop to d2 is what my opponent plays, so blocking that pin. And I go knight to d4. So they do not take. They could take, but I go queen to c5. Knight to a4 is what my opponent chooses. And I go queen to d5. Knight takes d4, queen takes d4. And now knight back to c3. I go e4. Knight to b5 attacks the queen. I go queen to d5. Knight takes a7. You know, I'm okay. I'm okay. King to b8. Bishop to e3. Okay, so far I'm fine. E takes d3. Bishop takes d5. Okay, so I blunder my queen. Rook takes d5. Now here I'm like, okay, I'm gonna resign, but I still didn't resign, and you'll see why. You'll see what happens. C takes d3. Bishop takes d3. Okay, so I take bishop takes d3. Rook to e1. Knight to e4. We're both low on time. Keep this in mind. Time is a thing here. Time is an important factor to keep in mind. In Blitz, I'm playing. This is 3-0 game, so no increment. This is 3 minutes, 0 increment games, which is what I've taken to playing now recently, just because increment gives advantage not just to me but also to my opponent, I feel like. But I've taken to just playing 0 increment 3-minute games, which I found to be quite a good deal more helpful to me. Now rook to e1, okay, and then knight to e4. Queen to g4 is what my opponent plays, so going for that the pawn there, and there's nothing really else because I still have my rook there, which hasn't moved since the beginning of the game, since the beginning of time, basically. As you notice, hasn't moved from h8 at all. Basically, I'm down a rook here, a rook and a queen. So queen to g4, I play rook to g8, and my opponent goes rook to a3, which is a very unusual move. I don't get that move. I don't get that move because it doesn't do anything. I go f5. My opponent goes f4, queen to f4. I go g5. they take here, which is so weird. I don't get this. I don't know why they did that. They could have gone f3, but I think the reason they did that is because they were low on time. So both of us were low on time. I guess, yeah, I just wish I had the timers here. I should find a way to get the time on the screen, but yeah, we're both low. That's why he took here. I guess, whatever. He didn't have to. I say he, but you know, it could have been a lady. Probably not. I've never known a girl named Sejanus. I've never even known a guy named Sejanus. But so I take knight to b5. Okay, now this is where the fun starts, right? Because he starts blundering pieces because he's low on time. So knight to b5, I take rook to c3. He blunders his rook and he loses on time. Now at this point, immensely grateful that I did not. I was like, if you would have, I was that close to resigning this game. I was like. That close. I was like this close to resigning that game, okay? That close. And boy, am I glad I didn't, because man, this was a crazy game for me. I mean, like, oof, boy. I don't know what chess.com game review thinks, but I was pretty happy with this game, I got to say. Okay, so that was 28 moves, and I started this game at 9:17, and this win brought me up to 9:22. Now, after 9:22, let's see what happens in the second game of this video. Okay, now I'm playing with the white pieces, and my opponent here, their name was too confusing to write down, so I just said Marty 2.0. That's not really their name, but they're rated around 9:16. And here, again, after the first game here, I'm rated 9:22. D4, and I'm just sorry. I'm testing out this microphone audio. I've been having some trouble when I post these videos. The audio's been coming out kind of quiet, so I want to make sure. I don't want to make it too loud, but I also want to make sure it's not too quiet. So hopefully that's better. Okay, so I played D4, right? D4 again, 3-0 game. Here we go. D4, E6, C4, D5. Okay, so normal Queen's Gambit declined. I go knight to F3, which is normal for me. And my opponent goes C5. I face this a lot, especially in like Blitz and Bullet games against this. More in Blitz games, because when you're playing Bullet games, it's less about playing chess and more about who's faster. And so C5, I take D5. I play G3. My opponent goes C6. I play Bishop G2 to fianchetto. And I castle. And then I take D takes C5. I learned this trick somewhere from like a video somewhere where after they move their bishop, you can make their bishop move a second time and they just lose a move basically. So that's what I did. So they go bishop to D6. I take. They go bishop to C5. So just a little thing you can learn. And then I play knight C3. They castle. I go bishop G5. They go here. They go D4, which is fine. I take bishop takes F6. Queen takes F6. And now knight to E4, attacking the queen and attacking the bishop. They slide back queen to E7, defending the queen, moving the queen out of danger, and also defending the bishop. I take, they take, I go rook to C1. They go rook to B6. I go rook to E1 and blunder the pawn. So I go rook C2. And then we have this, and here is where we start this whole like going after this D4 pawn, okay? So I go E3, and they go bishop D4. I take on E4, they take, takes, rook takes, knight takes. I go bishop back to G2, rook to D8. I go here. Really the only reason I went there was because how do I explain this in a way that makes sense? I just wanted to keep my, oh man, it's so hard to explain, but I wanted to just basically keep my queen stable with that knight there, where if they were to, like, I don't know, move the knight or something, it's so hard to explain, but anyway, let's just know that I was thinking some good idea while I play this move, and I can't think of it now, but it's something good. Hang on. Knight to E6. Queen to E2, rook E8. I go bishop to D5. We have G6, takes, queen takes, and I do not want to trade rooks here. I do not want to trade rooks because I'm down a pawn. This is bad. So I go rook to B1. He gives me the pawn. I take it. He goes here, which is like the stupidest move I've ever seen in all of chess history, which is basically like, I'm going to make a useless move and help you with your idea. So you're welcome. That's all it does, because I can take the pawn. I'm still defending. It's dumb moves, okay? Useless moves. He goes rook to E1 as if his moves weren't already ridiculous. He had to make it a little bit more ridiculous by going rook to e1 and doing absolutely nothing. I go king g2. Nothing. He's not doing anything. He goes rook to b1, which is weird. So I go rook to e7. He goes rook to a1. I just slide my rook back. I want to protect the pawn. And I bring my king. Okay? He goes stupid. Whoopsie, sorry. I go g4. Okay? We trade. And he gives me this check. Again, useless. He goes rook to h1. And I push the pawn. Rook takes h4, a5. Okay, so I'm pushing the pawn. I go here. I got the rook behind, so it's going to be a lot easier. He gives me a couple checks. King to d5. Rook e6. So at first I thought he was going to like try and check me or something, but then, you know, the only check he has here is rook to e5, and that would just be silly because he loses his rook. And now I have my rook behind the pawn, right? So now I just have to bring the pawn. I have the rook. I can just bring the king to the corner. He goes rook e6. I go a6. He goes rook to e8. a7, rook a8. Now I'm like, okay, so I just bring the rook, and he's either going to sacrifice the rook or move the rook out of danger, which he's most likely going to sacrifice the rook. King to c6, king f5, king to b7. He takes the pawn. I go here, and I go king to c6. Not only to try and centralize my king, but also it opens up the rook to attack the pawns. And go here as well and try and get behind this pawn and stop it, or give a check if I need to, which is less important. King to c6, g5. I take g4, rook f7 check, and here I'm so glad that I learned how to do some of these endgame tactics with rook and king versus rook and pawn, where you put the king in front of the pawn, and you because the king is blocking the pawn for just at least one move. You can bring the king. So just watch this. So it's a method of bringing the king. When their king moves out of the line of their pawn, you check it a bunch, and then it moves back, and then you rinse and repeat. You bring the king, they move the king, you check them, they move back, you bring the king. Right? It's just a whole method that I'm very glad I learned. So king to h4, rook to f4. Here instead of that I go for the pin variation where their pawn can no longer move, because then I would capture their king, which of course is impossible. But king to g3, I go here, king to h4, I go here. Again, they cannot move their pawn, and they cannot move their pawn, because then they would be exposing themselves to a check, and that's impossible. King to g3, I can take the pawn now, and at this point we're both really low on time. So my opponent was like at 15 seconds, and I was like at 8 seconds. Okay, and also each of these moves I'm losing like a second. So he goes king to f3, I go rook to g7, I go here, and that's why some of the moves I make don't make a lot of sense. But I go king to e5, which is fine. I could have also gone king to e4, but you know, it's fine. So I go here, which is totally unnecessary. I go here, and he just he just obliges and goes back, which is very nice. And I go king to e4, he goes king to c4, and now it's like, okay, I'm down to 4 seconds, but I know what to do now. So king to d5, king to b6, I bring my rook all the way down. I check him, he is on the back rank. I bring my rook all the way up now, king to a2, here. He's only got one legal move, which is king a2, rook a8 check, which is checkmate, and I won this game with about 3 seconds on the clock. So this second game was very nice, and again, a little bit of an offbeat opening, I would say, kind of deal with the pawn there, but I think I found some nice ideas, and my opponent, played well, and this was good, and this brought me up to 930, I believe. So just, not too far away from our goal, so that's nice. And yeah, just wanted to show you these two moves on the journey to 1,000, and I hope you all enjoyed these games. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoy them. Make sure to check out the 10-minute beginners chess guides, and you can subscribe right up here, and you can check out this video over here, and I'll see you all in the next video.